But, well, he says, you know, so as people are trying to unwind their private sector debt, the governments are stepping in and spending and quantitative easing and incurring budget deficits in order to sustain our this illusion that we're all wealthy. And this is in our next headline. You see this phenomenon here. President Obama signs law raising public debt limit from $12.4 trillion to $14.3 trillion. So remember, last year it was increased to $12.4 trillion. It's now being increased to $14.3 trillion. Now, to put this into perspective, that means that the national debt went from $40,000 per U.S. citizen to $46,000 per U.S. citizen. So in the past year, part of the global crisis has been that consumers are paying down their debts. So while these Americans are paying down their debts, the government is incurring equal amounts of debt in their name.
Right. Well, remember, before Obama took office, that number was around $5 trillion.
That's correct.
And then the Fed and the government had to take on the entire liability of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and the whole structured finance business, basically, was pushed onto the Fed's balance sheet from the banks on Wall Street to safeguard their Christmas bonuses. So
with this global debt bomb and all this unsustainable debt, here's another headline which suggests the end is nigh.
Oh, good.
How to invest for a global debt bomb explosion.
Oh, that's Paul Farrell, right, at MarketWatch.
This is Dow Jones MarketWatch. It's a very mainstream. Prepare for an apocalyptic anarchy ending Wall Street's toxic capitalism. So he places the population of America into two camps. The average Joe and Jane American.
Suckers.
Those are the 299 million Americans who are not the happy conspiracy insiders. The happy conspiracy being that everything is okay, we can all live on debt, and all our jobs can be sent overseas, and everything will be fine. And he puts about 1 million people into this. This includes CEOs, corporate executives, some lawyers, and maybe bankers and senators. But so the happy insiders are doing very well. And we have Barton Biggs, he talks about, who wrote this book, Wealth, War, and Wisdom. And he's advising these happy conspiracy insiders to buy land, food, seeds, and some wine and move to the countryside and buy some guns to keep the barbaric hordes away from them.
Once again, Alex Jones is proven correct. Barton Biggs is coming in and agreeing with the folks down there at InfoWars. But, well, you know, it makes perfect sense given the fact that, as they talk about in that story, you're talking about anarchy coming to the United States as the wealth wagon loses a few wheels and puts another $100 million 100 million people face down into the ditch. And, you know, I would say that the real war all over the world is the war between savers versus speculators. So the million-strong population, what the happy campers, the
happy conspiracy.
The happy conspiracy types, those are the speculators who can borrow money for virtually free, make bets. When they pay off, they keep the winnings. And if they lose, they get the rest to bail them out. And the rest of the people are the savers, the people who work and save, and they actually are honest and have integrity. But the integrity is trading at an all-time low in America.
Exactly, and of course when you deal with these happy conspiracy insiders, the likes of Goldman Sachs, the happy conspiracy is that, here Greece, we'll hide your debt for you with these fictional currency swaps.
Right.
And the same thing with Americans. So like, here, you can live the American dream. You can buy a house that you couldn't possibly afford otherwise. But if you trust in us, if you believe our happy conspiracy, you can own the home of your dreams. But in fact, you end up wiped out and destroyed and collapsed, like Greece, like the American citizen.
Well, here's a good song for our Americans to learn going forward. It's called Jump Down, Turn Around, Pick a Bale of Cotton. Jump down, turn around, pick a bale of two. It's the old slavery song, which is going to become appropriate now that slavery has been legalized in America, essentially, and you've got indentured servants all across, from New York to California, trying to pick enough cotton to pay back the demand in the big house for the loans that were forced upon them as part of Goldman Sachs' rape and pillage of the economy, y'all.
And while Paul Farrell points out that the happy conspiracy insiders are reading Barton Biggs, a happy conspiracy insider himself, as the former chief global economist for Morgan Stanley for 30 years, they're not even thinking of investing in tech stocks or pharmaceutical stocks or anything like that. They're just like, get the heck out of Dodge, and they're like, that's their investment plan.
Yeah, well, survivalist investing techniques. I suggest buying bleach and big garden plastic bags. In case somebody in your house or your neighborhood dies, you want to put the body into a big garden plastic bag with a few drops of bleach to kill all the germs from the rotting body. This way it'll protect you from getting sick from all those corpses that have been engineered thanks to the financial terrorists down there on Wall Street.
Well, Farrell himself recommends possibly a revolution. He says a new American revolution is needed in order to get rid of these pseudo-capitalists on Wall Street that have hijacked the entire system. But there are Americans doing kind of what you suggest. Another headline reads, Americans stock up to be ready for end of the world. The recession and the constant threat of terrorist attacks apparently have given life to the new ingrained survivalist instinct in America. And these people are called preppers. So this is unlike the survivalists, they call them, of the 90s.
Or the preppies.
Or the preppies.
The preppies who were there before the yuppies.
Exactly. Well, apparently the preppers are across all the spectrum of middle class and all sorts of Americans who are preparing for breakdown, just as is described in the Dow Jones Market Watch article.
The preppers who are now taking the place of what were known as the yuppies. That was my generation on Wall Street, the generation